Touchdown Alabama magazine, and 14 County editor Stephen M. Smith, reporting live from outside the Mel Moore Athletic Facility. Coach Nick Saban is at the podium right now, getting ready for his press conference. During the conference, he's going to be speaking about what he liked and disliked about the game last week and the win against Missouri, and what he's looking forward to seeing and facing going up against Tennessee in Neyland Stadium this Saturday. Let's go live to the action.
Well, I think that this last trip, this last game, our players really managed a lot of things right. Difficult circumstance playing on the road anytime you're in the SEC, especially with the weather conditions that we had, playing in a place that we'd never been in before. I was really pleased with the energy and intensity and the focus that we came out and started the game with. And I think it's pretty obvious that when we have a high level of focus and attention to detail, we execute well and we play well. And when we don't, we can become pretty average. And that was kind of the situation in this game. We were dominating the game and had a break, and came out and sort of didn't play as well during that break and got outscored 10-0 and let the other team back in the game. So the whole emphasis is on playing to a standard of excellence, having the right energy, the right focus, because when we have that, we play pretty well. And we got things to correct on both sides of the ball, and we'll certainly work on those things this week. We had some special teams errors in the game that it's not all just the obvious ones. We drop a punch snap that was a good snap. We give up a kickoff return where we don't execute properly in the coverage. We field the ball on the 4-yard line on the punt. We bring it out 5 or 6 yards deep in the end zone. Judgments, decisions, specialists, all have to execute, and we've got to do a better job of that. We had some guys that played extremely well in this game. I think the entire offensive line probably played pretty well, but Barrett Jones, Eddie Lacy, TJ Yeldon, those guys are the offensive players, and Barrett, I think, was the honorable mention or something, or for the conference. And C.J. Mosley and D. Milner on defense, and C.J. was the conference player of the week. Landon Collins, Brent Callaway, and Jeremy Shelley on special teams. So, injury updates, everybody's okay. AJ's okay. He's got a bruised knee. He's still sore. He will try to do some things in practice today. Christian Jones has an ankle sprain. He's day-to-day. But everybody else is, Eddie Lacy is okay. Everybody else is okay. We got our nicks and bruises like everybody does at this time of the year, but we just need to manage through that and do the best we can to prepare, for this game. And I think, games like this game is more about the rivalry, less about people's record. Tennessee has a really, really good offensive team. It's always a challenge to play on the road, and this is certainly a challenging place to play. But they have one of the best offensive teams in the country. Statistically, they got 2 great receivers who are some of the top receivers in our conference. They have a very, very good quarterback who's done a fantastic job for them this year. They've got a big offensive line. They've been able to create balance on offense. And they played well on defense at times, and have shown they have the capabilities and ability to do that. They're a very well coached team. Derek's done a very good job there, and very good on special teams. So this is a very challenging game for us, and we continue to try to. This game means a lot to a lot of people. Certainly, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to us. And I think our players will, work hard this week to try to get ready to play the best football.
Coach, I have 2. The first one, late in the game, you had a personal foul against Michael Fan. You looked at that tackle and noticed anything?
Right. Well, I think this is a young player who's excited about getting in the game, who makes a very, very poor decision and a judgment. on, making that play. And it's something that we don't condone here. It's not how we want our players to play. I think he understands that what he did was not done in the right way in terms of being a strong competitor. And we are managing internally things for him to do to make better choices and decisions in the future. And I think with all young people, when they make mistakes, that's what you really want to try to do. But he has apologized, written letters of apology to the player and the coach. I talked to Gary yesterday about it. He understands our position on it. And, there's other things that are being done internally in the program, and we just kind of take it from there.
And follow-up, it seemed like the pass rush against Missouri was pretty good. Could you talk about Adrian Hubbard in particular and how he's going on?
Well, Adrian's done a really good job, and Missouri's a very difficult, scheme. They take big splits sometimes, which, I think, sort of helps the pass rushers at times, especially if you're running games. But, I think Adrian has got more and more confident in what he's supposed to do, and he's certainly got the ability to rush off the edge and make plays, and we're pleased and happy with the progress that he's made this year and the production that he's made. I still think there's a lot of areas that we need to improve on, and we're going to be challenged in a way that we've never been challenged, by the quality of offensive team that we're playing this week and their capabilities, in the passing game, as well as the balance they have in running the ball. So we're going to need to continue to improve, and they're going to need to continue to improve and play well as a group to be able to have success against this kind of offensive team.
After the game, you mentioned that you took the blame for not getting the intensity up after the rain delay. So I'm just wondering, when players make mistakes, they have you to answer to and have consequences. But who keeps you on your toes, and is that something that's more
Well, I tried to
internal?
fire myself this week.
Is it you, is it internal, or is it someone else that helps you?
Well, look, when we were in the locker room, you can only go on what you see. We had told the players before, because we anticipated that this might happen. This is exactly how we were going to handle a rain delay. And they handled it well in the locker room. I mean, we had great focus, great attention to detail. We were going over all the things like it was halftime, and everybody had the right eyes, right look in their eye, and all that kind of thing. So, but obviously, we didn't come out and play with the same kind of energy and intensity, which is, probably difficult, especially with the circumstances in the game as they were. And then when you take a shot, as soon as you go out there and they had a kickoff return for a touchdown, we didn't respond to that very well either. All right, so there was a combination of things. I'm responsible for it. I need to do a better job of it. If you have any ideas what I can do to myself, I'd be glad to do it. I feel bad about it. I never want to, anytime our team goes out there and I don't think they're playing the way they should, then I'm constantly searching for what I could have done better, what we could have done better to, help put them in a better position. Vinny's a very instinctive player. He's a very bright guy. I think football is really important to him, so he works hard at it all the time. He loves to play. But he's actually playing a new position here. He'd never played defensive back before. And, he's really worked hard at, becoming the kind of disciplined, eye-controlled player that you need to be when you play in the secondary. And I think that's one of the things that he's made the most progress on, and I think that's, helped him continue to develop and play well for us.
He had an interception in the Arkansas game, and I think when our cameras came along, you were quite excited about that. I don't know if you actually knew that play was coming in that made you excited, or it was the relationship that you have with he and his family. Can you talk about that relationship and what that means to you?
Right. Well, I really have a lot of respect for, Sal, the entire family, certainly Vinny. But, sometimes when you work on something and it happens in a game like you worked on it, the guy makes a play, you get excited about that. And, that's kind of what happened on that play. So I'm always excited when we get an interception. So, and I'm always disappointed if we throw one. So, but we need to do better. And I think the biggest, thing that we've had to work on is, some of the players that we've lost, especially on special teams, has really sort of affected the continuity that we have on special teams. And we had to move guys around and shift, and you really kind of lose the cumulative effect of the experience that you gain from week to week to week, when you have to do that. So that's something that we're working hard on, to get those players enough knowledge and experience to be able to go out there and execute and do well at those positions. That's one of the challenging things that we have to do, and I just think on offense and defense we need to play, with more consistency. Play at a high level all the time, play to a standard all the time, which is what I continue to harp about, so that, we're going to give ourselves the best opportunity to be successful.
Also, Salson Sarah used to be here and he's there. Lance Thompson used to be there and he's here. What's the dynamic? Is there an advantage, a disadvantage, or the knowledge of personnel and schemes?
Well, I don't know that there's an advantage or disadvantage. They probably know. I coached with Derek for 7 years. I think they kind of know what we do, and we kind of, can see that they're doing a lot of the stuff that we do, especially on defense. So I don't know if there's an advantage or disadvantage. The advantages are created by the players and their execution, and getting them ready to go out there and be able to execute well in the situation, because you never know what the other team's going to do. Even if you know what they do, you don't know when they're going to do it. So you have to respond and react, properly on whichever side of the ball, or special teams, or whatever the circumstance and situation is in the game.
That kind of went after a little slow. Hey, Vinny, first off, it's a big week for you and the family. Can you talk about what it means to go up against the old man? You have a sister who's at Tennessee as well.
Yeah, she plays volleyball there.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be exciting. It's going to be tough. Probably can't talk to him as much this week as I usually do other weeks, or say good luck this week as much as I usually do. But I mean, I wish the best for him. I have a lot of mixed emotions about the game. It's going to be tough. I mean, I told him I'm going to come out early before the game and give him a hug and say hey, and tell him I love him like I always do. But I mean, it's going to be tough.
What about Mom?
I don't even think she's coming to the game. She said she's going to be at the hotel to say hey to me, and when we get off the plane to get in Knoxville, and then be at the hotel whenever we're about to leave. So I mean, it's tough for her. I mean, cheering against her husband and cheering against their son is just tough, and a lot of families coming to the game. So I mean, it should be pretty fun.
How much is you being a son of a coach helped you in the transition of a new position since you've been here at Alabama, but also the knowledge of the game and stuff? How has that helped you?
I think it's really helped me out a lot. Growing up, I was always trying to be a student of the game. I always would sit next to my dad, even when he was a coach for the Carolina Panthers. I'd watch him write plays down, watch him write blocking schemes down, how coaches think, how offensive-minded coaches think, and it's really helped me out to now, because, I mean, I'm not the fastest DB, I'm not the quickest, I'm not the most fluent, and I work hard, but I mean, I just kind of know what to get on certain plays and certain instances.
After the game, Coach talked about it a little bit. I'm pretty sure he's going to preach about it more this whole week. We know it's a big rivalry, not just for us, but, for the outside community as well. So, we're going to have to put that on our shoulders as well and, come out and practice the right way, so we can have a pretty successful game.
Now they're struggling, there's no question about it. They've lost 3 of their last 4. When you go into an environment like that, is it kind of like you got someone backed into a corner, you kind of expect them to come out swinging?
Yeah, that's pretty much how we expect every game to be, because we play like there's a bullseye on our back and everybody wants to beat us. So whether it's a home or away game, whenever we take the field, we know that they're going to throw everything they have at us. We just have to do our best to take it and keep moving.
How important was it to make a statement like you made on the second play of the game and break a long run like that and kind of establish some authority early in that game?
I think it was real important to me, and it gave us all the momentum. You know, we came out after that play and we continued to dominate. I think that play was a big part of, you know, the way we played.
Feel like you got better as the game went on, because obviously you're going to get more carries with 3 healthy backs mainly. I'm sure that you like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the rotation is the rotation. I mean, I feel good about the way everybody performed in the game.
During the press conference, Coach Saban talked about how proud he was of his offensive linemen and their ability to block and create big holes for the running backs to get up and down the field against the Missouri defense, even in the horrific weather conditions. What he was unproud of is how his team came out in the second half, saying that they were flat, played with little intensity, and not playing up to the standard that we're so used to seeing Alabama play with. Coach Saban said that is my fault, and it's something that I'm going to have to get better in as a coach, making sure that our guys are ready for every aspect of a game. He was displeased with the special teams play, saying that if a ball is kicked 6 to 7 yards deep into the end zone, or if the punter punts the ball inside the 5-yard line, he would rather see his guys fair catch it or let that ball go than to return it. He says our guys have to have better judgment when it comes down to that aspect of the game. As far as the defense goes, he was proud of C.J. Mosley and Adrian Hubbard and their ability to wreak havoc in the backfield, create big plays and stopping the run game, and just making it hard for the opposing team. Coach Saban looks forward to playing against Tennessee and head coach Derek Dooley on this upcoming Saturday in Knoxville, stating that Coach Dooley has done an outstanding job with the volunteer program. The offensive line in Tennessee is going to be one of the more stronger, physical, and most importantly, experienced offensive lines that the Crimson Tide has faced all season. And our quarterback Tyler Bray does not make many mistakes with the football, and it's going to be a challenge as well trying to stop him. The question is for the Alabama defense in this game coming up this Saturday against Tennessee is, can they create pressure and wreak havoc and mess up the timing of Tyler Bray and the Tennessee offense? As far as injuries go for the Tide, Coach Saban stated that A.J. McCarron and Eddie Lacy are fine, and they will be cleared to play this Saturday in Knoxville against the Volunteers. Whereas for TouchdownAlabama.net, I'm Stephen Smith with 14 and counting, reporting live from outside the Mel Moore Athletic Facility.